the South Koreans, showing the federal government's point man on defense procurement what more could be made in Canada. Hanwha says the howitzer armored vehicles used by some European forces and needed by Canadian soldiers could be made by auto workers in Ontario facing job losses.
The manufacturing automated lines that we have now, we could take that here and use the technology that we have and implement that in Canada for the development of these vehicles.
Hanwha did something similar in Australia. It built a factory outside Melbourne after Ford and Toyota shuttered their plants.
Given the moment that we're in, everything's on the table. So, we're not, we're looking at all the opportunities that we can get our hands on.
Hanwha is considering linking the howitzers to its bid to build up to a dozen submarines for the Royal Canadian Navy. One of its partners is also pitching building the torpedoes that go in the KSS-III sub in Canada.
With only hours left, a surprising move changed the game completely. This is no longer just about building submarines. It's about rebuilding an entire industry with almost $100 billion and saving jobs that were slipping away. It feels like an opportunity too big to miss. But there's a deeper reason this offer came so late. Hanwha's submarine bid has within a few short months become a potential lifeline for Canada's auto industry. The South Korean corporation is partnering with the Auto Parts Manufacturers Association to build military armored vehicles in Canada. Hanwha said Wednesday it would forge a joint venture with the Automotive Parts Manufacturers Association to create a Canadian entity that would build a range of vehicles. It's not a secret, Canada asked. Could you please take a look at the auto industry and understand what you can do? They're under a tremendous amount of stress, said Glenn Copeland, CEO of Hanwha Defence Canada. We've always wanted to propose something along the lines of land vehicle systems, and so it was just a natural fit. The automotive context that makes this announcement so significant is not incidental to the story. It is the heart of it. APMA President Flavio Volpe said in an interview with CTV News that Canadian auto plants are making 30% fewer vehicles this year because of US tariffs. But the partnership with Hanwha has the possibility of injecting new life into stagnant auto plants and creating thousands of jobs. An industry that has been absorbing sustained damage from the trade war for over a year with tariffs on steel, aluminum, and automobiles, disrupting the integrated North American supply chain that Canadian auto manufacturing was built around, is now looking at a potential conversion pathway. Defense manufacturing, unlike commercial vehicle production, does not fluctuate with consumer demand cycles or trade policy shifts in the same way. The contracts are long, the maintenance obligations follow. Volpe emphasized that this venture would be 51% Canadian-owned, with a Canadian CEO. The consortium would build 5 types of Hanwha vehicles that are estimated to be worth $10 billion over 2 years. It's equivalent activity to bringing one fully functional auto assembly plant here, said Volpe. Volpe says Project Aero Defense envisions a more secure future for auto workers. Once you make a truck, it's gone. But in defense, given that there are less jobs, they're more secure. You win a contract to build, but you also win the maintenance contract. You get to maintain and repair it for a generation. The specific vehicles covered by the Memorandum of Understanding are not abstract concepts. Hanwha officials say the new partnership could involve not only the K9 howitzers, but also the company's Redback infantry fighting vehicles, Chunmoo multiple launch rocket systems, and remotely operated ground drones manufactured in Canada. Hanwha currently has orders for hundreds of its howitzer vehicles from 6 NATO nations: Finland, Norway, Poland, Turkey, Estonia, and Romania. Australia, Egypt, and Vietnam have also placed orders, while Canada is also interested in purchasing 250 new armored vehicles. The production capacity being proposed for Canada would therefore serve both domestic Canadian Armed Forces procurement and global export to allied nations that are already buying the same vehicles. The submarine contract that makes all of this possible, or leaves it as an unrealized proposal, is one of the largest defense procurements in Canadian history. Defense analysts have said the total value of the submarine contract could be $60 billion to $120 billion over the vessel's full life cycle, including $24 billion to $30 billion for the acquisition itself. Canada intends to buy up to 12 new diesel-electric powered vessels for the Royal Canadian Navy. The contract includes more than 30 years of fleet maintenance. According to the evaluation grid obtained by CTV News, strategic and economic partnerships will account for 15% of the scoring system. The submarine platform accounts for 20%, while financial criteria will be weighted at 15%. How Hanwha and TKMS propose to sustain the fleet will make up 50% of the evaluation criteria. A source with Hanwha told CTV News, "This is 100% fully contingent on us winning the subs." This venture will not go ahead if Hanwha's KSS-III submarine is not selected for the Canadian Patrol Submarine project. Hanwha's competitor is Germany's ThyssenKrupp Marine Systems. Both bidders were asked by the federal government to submit improved bids by Wednesday's deadline after Ottawa extended the process specifically to encourage richer industrial partnership offers. Ottawa's extension earlier this month of the bidding process was an acknowledgement that the government wasn't satisfied with the economic and industrial benefits promised in the initial bids, submitted ahead of a March 2 deadline. TKMS, for its part, has indicated its proposal includes cooperation with Bombardier, investments in raw materials, and what it describes as a partnership extending beyond traditional procurement models, though it declined to provide details before Wednesday's deadline had closed. Prime Minister Mark Carney's government had asked submarine bidders to pledge vehicle manufacturing as part of their bids. APMA President Flavio Volpe said in a statement that the joint venture would deliver on the Prime Minister's challenge to Canada's automotive sector to help drive the country's unprecedented commitment to national defense. Secretary of State for Defense Procurement Stephen Fuhrer said this shows the government's strategy for the submarine procurement is working. Since the companies got the message that the winning bidder would be the one offering to deliver the most economic value for Canada. They're great companies, and because there's only two, they have a 50% chance of winning this, and they know what the stakes are. So guess what? They're putting their best foot forward, and we're happy to see that, Fuhrer told reporters. The federal government is looking to have its first new submarine in the water by 2032. The winner of the submarine contract is expected to be chosen in June. That decision, Hanwha's KSS-III Batch 2 submarine from South Korea, or TKMS's 212CD from a joint German-Norwegian project, will determine which of these industrial partnership proposals becomes a real economic program and which remains a competitive bid document. Hanwha says it, and APMA will work together to establish a sovereign Canadian automotive business unit that would be focused exclusively on the design and production of non-commercial industrial vehicles, including light-duty trucks and SUVs, for use by the Canadian Armed Forces. The industrial benefits, scoring at 15% of the evaluation criteria, combined with the 50% weight given to fleet sustainment proposals, creates a procurement framework specifically designed to drive exactly the kind of long-term industrial commitment Hanwha announced on Wednesday. Canada built the evaluation criteria to reward precisely what Hanwha is now offering. The June decision will determine whether that offer becomes a generation-long partnership or a missed opportunity.